Hello everyone, I'm the Smart Titan and today we will be covering episode 86 of the anime of Attack on Titan. In today's episode, chapter 129 of the manga was used completely and the first 4 pages of chapter 130. So don't read chapter 130 please or you will be spoiled. And also chapter 123 is not animated yet, so if you're an anime only, be sure to don't read it yet. So beginning the comparison on this scene, a different angle was used and the last part of the battle of the Titan Shifters against the Jaguarists wasn't part of the manga and it's totally an add-on by Mappa. That looks very cool. When Hangi explains to Madame Asumabito and the group how long it will take the rumbling to reach Liberio, Mappa used their traditional animation style of close takes to the character's face. Also, when Hangi was speaking about this, there's a scene showing the Colossal Titans marching in the manga, but the anime didn't show this. The flashback of Jan remembering Liberio had a totally different image in the manga. From what I interpret here in the manga, Kiyomi is explaining everything in the stairs where the group was hiding. In the anime instead, they made everyone go and create a plan while being in a room that was next to the stairs, where they prepare the plan. Then when they are done planning it, they exit this room that had the map and they go back into the battlefield once again. This scene wasn't really changed in the anime, but I really need to mention how good Mappa's animation was on today's episode. I mean, the camera movement in this scene of the female Titan kicking the Jaguarists was so enjoyable. The animation in general was so good. After Mikasa explains the new plan to Annie, there's a panel showing Annie thinking about the plan, and while she does this, she cuts a Jaguarist in half. In the manga, it wasn't very noticeable in this scene that Mikasa was next to Reiner before he received Magat's orders. The anime frame really made everything more easy to understand. Although in the manga you can understand this, but it's not clearly shown here. In this scene, Mikasa and Hangi attack different Jaguarists in the manga. It's just a minor change, but I still notice it. In this episode, I feel that the anime showed a lot of love towards Flock in these moments, since they focus more on his face during some frames of these scenes more than in the ambience. This attack of Reiner against a Jaguarist didn't appear in the manga, and it's from the scene when Magat and the group of technicians are escaping from the Jaguarists. This panel of the female Titan had a cooler manga panel, although I won't blame Mappa for this small scene not being animated like this, since the episode overall was perfect. Now talking about camera angles once again, man, I loved how Mappa picked these camera angles. They put you in a perspective of how a human will look at this scene happening in real life. The manga didn't have this kind of takes, and at least personally, I really like seeing these angles, plus the camera movements that were chosen for this battle. It looks like an Elden Ring fight, if you know what I mean. In the anime, Flock is flying with his ODM gear while analyzing the situation in the battlefield. In the manga instead, he was just standing next to the group of Jaguarists planning everything. And when he finishes the plan and giving the orders, he does the classic Sasageyo. And in the manga we see his face as he screams Sasageyo. But in the anime we see how he takes his hand to his heart. When Kiyomi is boarding the ship, the manga had a panel showing the Titans fighting against the Jaguarists in parallel. In the anime, Mappa just shows us the ship and everyone boarding it. And Mappa added an extra scene showing the workers inside the train that had the reinforcements of the Jaguarists. The scene of Connie fighting the Jaguarists in the anime was extremely well animated. It gave me those Levi versus Kenny vibes at some point. Obviously it was not at the level of that animation of Wit Studio, but I really felt that Mappa made this scene look way more cool than in the manga. And they also made a change that when Connie is flying with his ODM gear, dodging the bullets in the manga, he dodges the bullets just by speed I think, but in the anime they made him grab the corpse of one of the Jaguarists and use it to protect himself with this meat shield. In the scene when Mikasa joins the fight, a woman is the one about to shoot her from behind. In the manga it was a guy, and also Hangi was helping Mikasa in the beginning of the fight, but in the anime she didn't appear here. Map added this extra frame showing Mikasa with blood on her face after Jan shoots the girl. In the manga this doesn't appear and we already see her after she took the blood off from her face with her hand. The scenes previous to the Falco's transformation changed a bit and Mappa did some small changes to each panel showing what each character was doing moments before this happened. When Falco finally transforms, Gabi was alone in the anime, while in the manga she was talking with Magat. By the way, talking about Falco, the design of the Titan looks great. I will raise the salary of everyone who made this design. The Titan looks amazing. I really enjoyed watching it. Flock looks more brave in the anime adaptation than in the manga. It feels like he's more fierce instead of scared as he looked in many of the manga panels of this battle. And okay, on this scene, in the manga we see Mikasa cutting half of the head of a Jaguarist off, and in the next panel we see how everyone is already killed. But Mappa said like, hey, we need to fix this explanation because we see a massacre, but we don't know what the hell happened here. So they add this very gore scene showing just Mikasa beating the crap out of everyone, using a beheaded corpse to detonate other Jaggeries and causing a rain of blood that this scene was so cool. I was literally screaming because I wasn't expecting this as a manga reader. It's totally an extra scene made by Mappa and it was amazing. So now the scene when Falco's Titan is almost in Berserker mode. And yeah, Berserker mode because I can't stop playing Lost Ark, I need to stop. In the manga we see Pig talking in her human form, but in the anime we see her as the Guard Titan talking. After the battle ends and Magat stays, while he's being shot at the port, we see that Magat is ready to shoot back without taking cover, but in the anime they made him take cover before shooting, something that makes the scene more realistic. In the moment when Magat and Shadis are about to do their suicidal attack to slow down the Jaggeries, in the manga they were both still holding the carbine rifle as they say their respecting names to each other. In the anime instead the weapon was already on the ground ready to shoot. The anime changed the position of the characters for this final scene, showing the Alliance staring at the explosion, knowing that Magat already sacrificed himself in order to help them continue with their plan. During this post-credit scene when Annie says that she doesn't have any reason to keep fighting, Mappa shows a close-up to her eye. In the manga instead they show a flashback of how she's remembering her father as she says this. All the scenes of the post-credits were loyal to the manga except for some small changes, as we see here in the position of Reiner and also the distance of the seagull from the ship. That is probably a change of perspective because Mappa likes being more realistic. And this episode ends on page 5 of chapter 130. But only half of this page was shown, so better don't read anime onlys or you might get spoiled here. So these are all the differences that I found, guys. Overall this episode was a 10 out of 10 for me. It had an amazing quality and impressive animation. They even used the OST of Ashes on the Fire and it really surprised me. Mappa really shows amazing extra scenes to add to improve the manga, especially that Mikasa scene going in rampage against the Jaggeries. The plot of the manga wasn't affected by this and they still managed to add small details to make the episode look great. I hope they keep doing this and fix some mistakes that Isayama commit in the manga to make it feel better, since as I always say, the manga ending wasn't bad, but it was poorly drawn and developed by Isayama. Although this is not his fault because he was always aware and very honest to everyone that he hadn't the level required to draw this ending. And come on, our poor mangaka spent 10 years drawing this story. We can't be so cruel with Isayama sensei for this. And I trust that Mappa will improve everything from here and the final result will be great. The next episode is crucial for this final development and hopefully Mappa will once again surprise us. And if I'm not wrong, the episode was changed and will be broadcasted in 2 weeks more. So I will see you again in 2 weeks for another manga versus anime comparison, guys, together with this small review that I'm doing in every ending of the video. Meanwhile, be sure to check this channel because I will be uploading the interview with my musician friend, analyzing the song Ashes on the Fire, and as usual a lot of more material is ready to be delivered. I'm still celebrating the 500 subscribers and I thank you guys for this. I'm really happy after that horrible last week that I had to leave. I'm still recovering, but you guys really make my day better and I really thank you all for all the support. So this is it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video and as I always say, thank you and see you soon.